welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and with me are two excited guests to be here. Jennifer Lopez, she is the history teacher here at Norfolk Public Schools, and Colleen Schinderly, a senior at Granby High School. And let me go back. You are a history teacher specialist here at Norfolk Public Schools.
Yes, I am.
Welcome, ladies, to NPS Now.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for coming on the show. And this is NATO season, so I want you guys to talk all about that. But first, I'm going to start with you, Ms. Lopez. What exactly is NATO Challenge, and how long has it been going on here in Norfolk?
Well, the Model NATO Challenge is a scholarship competition where students are selected to compete in a mock global crisis simulation, and they represent the 28 countries of NATO. And what's interesting about the Norfolk NATO Festival and our Model NATO Challenge is it's actually the only Model NATO Challenge that is done on the high school level. Everywhere else in the country, the NATO simulations and NATO competitions are only done on the collegiate level. So this year is the 10th year that the NATO Challenge has taken place here in Norfolk.
And how are students selected to be a part of this program?
They actually are selected based on an application process. They have to get recommendations, and they also write essays, and they score the essays and the applications in order to determine 28 students and 6 alternates that will compete in the Model NATO Challenge.
That's a lot of work to be a part of this, but it's exciting. Wow. So why did you choose to be a part of this NATO Challenge?
I had done Model UN before, so I'd already gotten into that kind of global international thing. And I just wanted to see how a different organization dealt with issues and kind of get into that as well.
So you have experience with that. Tell me a little bit about that.
With Model UN? Well, it's just a separate kind of program that goes on through, I'm actually not sure. Well, we do ODU Model UN usually with Granby High School. So ODU throws like this big, I guess, competition where you come in and speak as if you're a representative for for the United Nations. It's a little bit different, but I just wanted to see kind of the similarities with that.
So how did you first find out about this one?
Actually, my history teacher has been kind of advertising this to students for quite a long time. It's Mr. Martin. He's my history teacher, so yeah.
So when a student is chosen, what happens next?
Well, after they're selected, they are assigned a country, and they are assigned a mentor from that country. And the mentor is an actual military officer from the country that they've been assigned. And their role would be to prepare the students for the Model NATO Challenge by providing them with information on the culture, the military capacity, and any other relevant background information that would be helpful for the student in participating in the simulation. And there are also events that the students will participate in leading up to the actual challenge itself. They get to go to the actual NATO headquarters and tour the NATO headquarters here in Norfolk.
Wow.
And they participate in study nights and also modules that will prepare them for the simulation.
And how long do they prepare for this?
I'm not sure when they were selected. I think there's
several months.
Several months, okay.
We've been doing kind of different activities to, like she said, lead up to it.
Because I was going to say, this is a lot of work, and if you're connecting with someone, so what country did you connect with?
I was actually Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
It was really interesting. Actually, the representative that I spoke to, well, he was obviously from Spain, and during one of the orientation sessions, I was actually able to go back to kind of the Spanish headquarters for NATO here in Norfolk and talk to kind of that more high up people running that. So I was actually introduced to them, which was really interesting.
So what are some of the things that you learned from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just how NATO works here. It's a different command center than the one that's in Brussels. So they kind of run a different process. And it was just very interesting, for sure.
Yeah, so tell me about the challenge. What was it like?
Okay, yeah, so we did orientations and things leading up to it, but the actual challenge itself was held at Virginia Wesleyan. They kind of showed us a bunch of simulations and videos on a TV screen to give us a background of what the actual crisis was about, and then we were just kind of told to run with it and bounce ideas back and forth about whether or not it was a NATO issue, first of all, and whether we should be dealing with it, and then exactly how we were going to implement strategies to figure it out.
So what was the crisis?
We actually dealt with two, just because we had so much time to work with. So the first one was the refugee crisis that's happening now in the Mediterranean, which is interesting because they're actually dealing with that currently. And then also cybersecurity, just because technology is so relevant also.
Wow, wow. So you seem very excited about this. Is this your first time working with this type of program, or have you been involved in it in the past?
Well, this is actually my 6th year working with Model NATO, but it is definitely my first time working with a program like Model NATO. I'll never forget my first year going to the simulation. I mean, they really immerse you in this crisis. You feel like it's really going on and you have to make these decisions, and it's amazing to see young people tackling these global issues and how they are able to come up with creative ideas that you wouldn't necessarily think someone that age would be able to generate. So it was very, very exciting for me, and that has spurred my involvement over the past 6 years.
Wow. And Colleen, how do you think this will benefit students participating in this program, and how has it benefited you?
I mean, I think just being globally aware is really valuable, and I think that just knowing how, well, obviously as well, speaking to someone from the actual country that you're representing was amazing also. So I think that that is definitely an experience that only Model NATO gives you.
Yeah, what was your favorite process or part of this whole process?
I'd have to say probably when we went to the actual command center, because we were seated at the chair that our representative from our country would be seated at, with all the flags, and it's kind of a horseshoe-shaped table and there's microphones. So just being in the actual situation that they would be in was really, it was out of this world.
Inexplicable, right?
Yes.
So what do they win? What will they receive, and how many students actually win?
The top 6 place students receive scholarships, and this year the top winner is also given an all-expense paid trip to the International Youth Student Leadership Conference presented by Operation Smile in California.
Wow, that's exciting. I was curious to say, do you get to go to Spain?
I wish.
Well, great. We want to thank you all for coming on this show and sharing with us the NATO Challenge, what that's about, and hopefully it'll inspire the students to want to be a part of it and teachers to want to participate as well. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Setmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today we have 2 special guests here to talk a little bit about tennis. We have Bill Lloyd from Granby High School, head tennis coach. Welcome.
Thank you.
And he's brought a player, Maria Citrone. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Bill, let's talk about your tennis team this year.
Well, we very strong this year, I think. I think it's the strongest team I've had in about 10 years. We've had some middle school players come up that are really, really good, and we had everybody return from last year, so I think we've got a very strong team this year.
Maria, let's kind of piggyback on Coach there and talk about a little bit about the team, and then how is it being the #1 player on the team?
As Coach Lloyd said, I'm really confident about our team this year. We have a lot of new players, and all of our returning players have come back even stronger than before. Personally, being the #1, I'm proud of it because we do have a lot of great players on the team, but I'm just excited that I get to start every match, and we have such great depth this year. We have a lot of people that can fill in and step up to the plate when we need to, and it's really nice to have that whole team around you supporting you.
Okay, you're a multi-sport athlete. You're a member of the volleyball team and a member of the swim team. So how does tennis, how do those sports help you become the #1 player at Granby?
Well, sometimes I kind of joke that I play all sports that involve my shoulders, so that helps in terms of serving motions, and volleyball and hitting and tennis. They're all pretty similar, but also just knowing how to be part of a team, be a leader. all the coaches that I've had also have like different coaching styles, which is kind of nice to go from sport to sport just to you know, get different feedback. And some of the players that I play with are on multiple teams with me, which is also really nice because I formed a lot of strong friendships with them.
Okay. Coach, talk a little bit about Maria.
Well, she hit the key word there with leader. She's a leader on the team. Being the #1 player, she sets an example for everybody on how to act on and off the court. And being that she's in many different sports, she represents Granby and tennis very well as a leader and just a good role model.
Okay. Coach, you've been the tennis coach at Granby for some time now. How long have you been the tennis coach there?
This is season 27.
27 years. So tell us, how do you keep going?
Well, I've always loved tennis ever since junior high school, as they used to call it. My coach in high school was a teacher that just loved to teach tennis, and I felt like I wanted to continue that on. And I keep a lot of people on my team, and just to teach them tennis. I feel like I'm growing the sport as well as coaching a team and trying to get victories and stuff too,
Okay.
but also growing the sport.
Well, you've been doing this 27 years, so obviously you have a lot. You've seen a lot. So how's tennis evolved in Norfolk over the past 20 years?
Well, I think it's being taken a lot more seriously than it was in the beginning. I think the skill level has increased incredibly, and with the popularity of women's professional tennis, I think it gets a lot more attention than it used to because we have so many talented players in this area.
Mm-hmm. Now, has the middle school program helped develop tennis players to move to that high school level?
Absolutely. For me, girls tennis started spring of '99 in middle school, and I was the coach at Northside at that time, and it was wonderful developing those players at that time to come on to Granby or wherever they were going to become good players. Because in the old days, it used to be you got kids come out freshman year and they didn't know how to keep score or anything, and now they already know all that stuff and they have a fairly high skill level.
Okay, well, our middle school tennis season will be starting, so hopefully we'll have some more players coming your way in the future. So, Maria, let's go back to you. Talk about why do you like tennis, and from that.
Well, I've actually grown up around tennis for a long time. My dad has always played, and my older siblings have played, and I just think I like that it's a lifelong sport. So it's something that I hope to continue for a really long time, and it's different from team sports in that it is very individual, and you can. You're always pursuing things for yourself and meeting the goals that you really want to meet as an individual player, but being on a high school team is also great for me because you can still have that team spirit and team vibe while still going for everything on an individual level.
All right,
as well.
so I have to ask, team versus individual, what do you like the best?
I don't know that I can say. I just think they're different, but they're both equally enjoyable. My volleyball season, that's a really, really strong, it has to be a really strong team and a really strong bond in order to be successful, and that's great. And then swimming and tennis, again, more individual, but this team in particular I think is really unique because we have everyone is really friendly to each other and very much in support of each other, and so even those who don't normally play in matches are always there and supporting you, and so I think we kind of have the best of both worlds with this tennis team.
So your goals this year, what are your goals this year and then beyond? Where do you want to take tennis if that's in your future?
Well, this year I'm hoping to have a winning record. We're playing some new teams this year from Chesapeake, I believe, and that should be really interesting. I don't know too much about those teams, but I'm hoping to really find some great competition there and do pretty well. In terms of the future, I mean, I'm certainly planning on playing next year, my senior year. On from there, maybe play club or even intramural in college and continue on from there. As I said, you know, it's lifelong, so I'm just excited to, you know, as long as I can find somebody else who plays and a racket, a ball, and a court, then,
right.
you know.
That sounds great. Coach, let's look at, she mentioned that you're going into a new conference, so you have those 4 new schools that you'll be competing against. I think it's Grassfield, Western Branch, Oscar Smith, and Woodside in Conference 2 now. So before that, you have district play. So what's the district look like? What's the outlook like there, and then as far as the conference?
Well, in district play, I think we're going to be very strong. I think Maury is our top competition, and I believe that's going to be a real dogfight this year. I think they're going to be tough, but I think we've improved since last year, and I think it's going to be a very good match. As far as the conference goes, I'm not so sure. I don't know a lot about the schools that are in that conference. I do know that Grassfield is very strong. I'm not so sure about the other 3. I'm hoping that we'll do well. I think we will do well.
Okay. Well, Coach Maria, we wish you good luck this season. You got a lot of tennis matches left, so again, good luck, and we'll see you out on the tennis courts.
Okay, thank you.
More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With me today is 2 more special guests, a special young lady by the name of Gianni Graham, who is a 4th grader at Ingleside Elementary School, and her mother, Whitney Graham, who is here to support her and her efforts with collecting over 1,000 Barbie dolls. Welcome, ladies, to NPS Now.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you guys here. I'm just excited. We're all following you, Gianni, and your efforts to raise Barbies. I think it's over 1,600 now.
Yes, ma'am.
Over 1,600 Barbies. You've created such a passion and a love of people to want to give to your Barbie collection. Even the people here in the building, the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, gave some Barbies. So I want to find out from you, how old were you when you got your first Barbie, and why do you love Barbies so much?
5. When I got my first Barbie, and because they're kind of a friend to me.
Mm-hmm. Is there any style Barbie that you like the most?
Yes.
Which one?
Fashionista.
The fashionista one. I like that bow that you're wearing too. You're kind of fashionista yourself. So Mom, your daughter's on this mission to collect all these Barbies. How did this all come about?
Gianni came to me a few days after Christmas, and she said that she wanted to collect Barbies and to donate them to little girls in foster homes, in foster care, in homeless shelters. And she started off with her 5, and it just took off from there.
What did you think about this, her coming and saying this to you?
It really touched my heart. I cried, of course, because I'm very emotional, but to have a little girl that has a heart that's so selfless, it made me feel really proud as a mother.
So why did you just say, hey, we're going to rally behind these efforts and do this for her? Why do you feel like you had to press to do that?
Because I felt it was a great idea. Whenever, you know, you're being a servant to others and helping to serve a purpose, it's always a good thing.
So from December up until now, how many Barbies has she collected?
Over 1,600.
So I was right, over 1,600
Yes.
Barbies. Well, I had the pleasure during spring break to come watch you give 2 little girls at the Up Center some Barbies. What did that feel like that day for you?
Happy.
Happy? Wow, wasn't it interesting to hear the girls' stories?
Yes.
You think you made them happy that day?
Yes.
Wow. And so that was one of many other times you've given away Barbies. Where are some other places that you've been giving Barbies to? And where will you give future Barbies to?
Well, Gianni has, in the past, she's been invited to a few events in the Hampton Roads area, and when she goes out to these events and speaks about the awareness of her organization, she gives away Barbies to the little girls who attend the events.
And you just recently had an event. What was that?
Yes, Gianni had a day party a Saturday that just passed, and it was an awareness event. An awareness event about what she's doing. We had lots of fun. It was a lot of kids that came out to support, and parents as well. It was a great event.
So what's it like, Gianni, to get all this national attention? Now you're like, okay, if I see one more camera or someone asks me one more question, what's it like to get all this attention? What do you think about that?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Because she's humble. She's a very humble young lady.
Very humble.
Very, very, very humble. So what's it like for you, Whitney, to see your daughter get all this national attention? She's been on what national news outlet so far? She's been on Headline News. She's been on all of the local stations. She's been featured on Inside Edition, Good Morning America, Yahoo, MSN, The Roots, over I'd say about 300 different networks, even outside of the country, in Europe, in China, and a couple of other places. But she has become to be a very popular American girl. And they have a doll called the American Girl.
Yes, they do.
Wow. So what do you and Gianni want to accomplish here with what you're doing? And how long do you want this to go on? Is this like an effort that just happened or something you're going to continue to do?
Well, I talked with Gianni, and I asked, her, did she want to continue, with her mission and help other little girls? And she said, yes, Mommy. I feel that every doll deserves a doll. So she said that she wanted to raise Barbies for every city in the United States. Wow. So we have a lot of work to do.
Now, do you have a website or an email address? Or?
Yes, we do have a website. It's 1kbarbiesfor1kgirls.com. And our email address is dollsfordallsfoundation@gmail.com.
So where did some of these Barbies come from, Gianni? Who was nice enough to say, I want to donate to her? I mean, is it international, people from other countries, here locally? Are you just getting Barbies, Mom? People are just offering them?
Yes, they're coming from everywhere. Europe, the Middle East, Nigeria, all of the states in the United States. Maybe like 12 other countries.
Wow, why do you think it has such a global appeal to people to make them want to give? Because she's a very gorgeous little girl. I think I'd have a hard time not sending her a Barbie too. So, but why do you think it's such a global appeal and people are just rallying to this?
Because the idea came from a child, and because of the heart that she has to make other children feel good and feel loved. And she has a note that she's attached with the Barbies, and it's a note of encouragement. And going through difficult times when you've been removed from your family, for numerous of reasons, to receive something from a total stranger that shows that they care and to encourage you, I'm sure it means a lot to those recipients.
And I know it does. So what are some of the little messages that you're writing on the Barbies? I know she wrote all of them, right?
Yeah. You remember what the note says? I'm giving you this doll.
I'm giving you this doll because you might be going through hard times. And it has a quote at the bottom.
And what is your quote?
Stay strong and believe in yourself.
That's awesome. That's a great message for all young girls and boys.
Yes.
Little boys and girls, especially the ones that are going through transition. And from what I understand, such a passion for foster kids or any children who may be in transition or just going through something, period. So what do your friends and classmates around you think about what you're doing?
They're supporting, right?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for your hard work. I know this is not going to be the last time that we hear about Gianni and the 1K for 1K girls. I'm excited for you guys, and we're going to follow you guys and see how you all are doing. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing about your Barbies. And hopefully, let's give the address again or email address. They can email you if they want to give you a Barbie.
Yes, they can either go on her website and send a message. Her website is 1kbarbiesfor1kgirls.com, or they can email us at dollsfordollsfoundation@gmail. And Gianni also has a GoFundMe page. It's gofundme.com/1kbarbies.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, for joining us on NPS Now.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.